Hi everyone, welcome back to WHU TV live on YouTube and Periscope. I hope you're all doing well. My name is John, your host as always. It's Friday. This is the 20th episode of Daily Live Chat along with John, whatever. So let's have a look to see who's in the chat already. So back for the second night in a row now. John O'Connell, hello mate, good to see you. And Nick Squire Thompson is in as well. Evening, hope you're doing all right. Now, guys, this as is always, even if you're new to the channel, welcome. This format is an open Q&A discussion. I'll ask you questions, and you ask me questions. We both answer each other's questions. But to be honest with you guys, there's not a lot to talk about. There really isn't. there really isn't. Mark English, hello mate, good to see you. Rebecca's in early for once. She's on time, makes a change. John, favourite wonder kid at the moment? Don't really have one, son, to be honest with you. Vernon says good morning, no work today. I hope that's a good thing. And PB says hi as well. So, guys, first and foremost, I said to you when the Bundesliga fixtures come out, we will talk about it, and they are. So here we go. Here are the fixtures. Borussia Dortmund playing Schalke tomorrow at 2:30. I'm hoping this is GMT. FC Augsburg versus VfL Wolfsburg at 2:30 as well. Fortuna Düsseldorf and SC Paderborn 07 and Red Bull Leipzig, I should say, and SC Freiburg and 1899 Hoffenheim and 14 and Hertha Berlin 14. All those games, all those 5 kickoff games are at 2:30, and the evening kickoff is Eintracht Frankfurt versus I can never pronounce this properly. Borussia Mönchengladbach. And tomorrow's fixtures: FC Köln versus Mainz, again at 2:30. FC Union Berlin and Bayern Munich at 5 o'clock. Monday night is Werder Bremen versus Bayer Leverkusen at 7:30. Friday's 22nd of May, Hertha Berlin versus FC Union Berlin. We'll go on to the other ones in next week. But those guys, those are the fixtures. That's the fixtures for us. So that's looking pretty cool, I must admit. I'm looking forward to watching those games. Really am looking forward to it, because I have missed football. I really have missed football. Sorry, Beck says I thought she'd make the effort. This is the best part of your day. Thank you, John. That's much appreciated. Ben, hello, mate. West Ham for life. John boy, good to see you. Nick says Schalke all the way. Sophie, hello, mate. Andy's back again for every single night for the last practically the week, mate. I'm impressed. Good. I'm glad you're coming back, man. I'm glad you're enjoying it. And thank you very much for the tweet you put out last night as well, for that matter. Peter Jones, hello, mate. Sofian's already coming into his predictions. Dortmund 3-1 win in his opinion. Armo, hello, Gazer. Dortmund and Schalke is a good derby. Beck says Augsburg for me. Here that Oxford probably won't start. Sofian says Augsburg win. Ben says nice pronunciation. Thank you, mate. It's a long time since I've been able to do anything quite close to this. Bloody hell, there's a lot of Patreon. Wally, hello, mate. Good to see you, squad player. Hope you're all right. Mark's done a wee pajama bet tomorrow. Mark, what's your bet been, mate? It'd be interesting to find out what you've been doing. John McGuire says buffering. Always happens, mate. Beck's the same as me. Generally can't wait to have a bet tomorrow. I'm quite interested to see what's going on. Neil, good morning, mate. Very good morning. 3:03 a.m. Hello, mate. I'm from South Australia on Saturday morning. Hope you're all right. Regal C's back again. Do you think League 2 proposals will make upper leagues follow suit? Now this is the thing. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. Foshizi, hello, Gazer. How you doing? Oops. Where are we? Audio is working. I don't know what you're on about. Sophie says the audio is not working. I don't know what you're going on with that, mate. It is just you because everyone else is hearing it. Everyone's catching up with each other. And Mark, hello, mate. Good to see you. Yeah, we go. Sorry, my computer's muted. Mate, don't bloody do that. I get enough technical issues with this computer as it is. Yes, agreed. Don't do that, mate. Don't do that. All right, so yeah, coming to where are we? Nick says, mate, is there any chance you can do a watch along? Might do, actually, Nick, to be honest with you, fella. I won't do this weekend because I have no clue who I'm going to be watching and who anybody is. So this weekend's going to be a bit of prep work for this week. But as I said, hang on, my seat's looking a little bit small. I'm looking like Becca. I'm looking like an umpa. What's going on? There you go. That's better. But yeah. Morning, Darren. Hope you're doing all right, mate. John O'Connell says, thoughts on Liverpool supporters not wanting the season to be voided but wanting it to be avoided because their women's team might get relegated. Didn't hear that, mate, if I'm honest. Haven't seen anything around people talking about it. Sofian says he's supporting Red Bull Leipzig. Red Bull West Ham incoming. Honestly, give it up, son. Give it up. Watch along to Dortmund game. I said, mate, not this weekend because I'm going to do some prep work. I need to do some. I'm going to need to do some research on who's who and everything. So because I don't normally do it. Bex says she's 5'5". 5'5.5", I should say. She's going to kill me for that. Next says, I recommend Schalke John have some proper players. I'll check them out. Armo, will West Ham under 23s get promoted? We have no idea. Nothing known about that. No idea about that whatsoever. I'm afraid. Right. So let's get back to what we were originally going to be talking about, as the question was posed earlier by, where are we? All the comments coming in quickly, which is nice. Always nice to see. Who asked it? Yeah. Regal C's question from earlier. Do you think League Two proposals will make upper leagues follow suit? Right, let's talk about it, okay? Because nothing has actually been confirmed yet. But League Two clubs have voted to end the season, but League One haven't come to a conclusion yet. However, I know that's a snap bite, the clickbait link on the websites that people have been watching it, that have been reading it, sorry. But it does actually go on to say that even though the EFL said clubs unanimously indicated they wish to end the season via a framework that includes tables being decided on points per game and the playoffs remaining as planned. But any move still needs to be ratified by both the EFL and the Football Association. 6 third-tier clubs had said prior to the meeting that they were determined to complete the remaining fixtures and are now set to meet again on Monday in an attempt to find a resolution. So nothing is actually confirmed yet, Regal. We'll find out on Monday, likewise, what's going on with the Premier League as well, for that matter. But yeah, it's been it'd be interesting to find out what happens on Monday, because obviously there's the EFL and the Premier League and the Football Association anyway are all coming together and talking about what the plan's going to be. So yeah, but it's good, cool. So conversations going on still. Gary Margarizon, I think you pronounced that. Apologies, Gary, if I pronounced that wrong. Love your t-shirt, John. Thanks, mate. This is actually a West Ham a proper West Ham t-shirt. This came out about 9 years ago. Sorry, about 8 years ago, I should say. 8 years ago for the when we got into the playoffs, all the t-shirts that came out around about that time. That's what those were. Hello, Richard. Henry, even sorry, hello, mate. No Hollywocks on today, so I'm watching. Cheers, mate. I think. Sophie says Hammers Chat said they were going to upload a video about Upton Park, but it's not out yet. No, it's up tomorrow. So they're doing so. Apparently, they've got some never seen before footage. So I don't know if it's about their stuff or actual official footage. So that's going to be interesting. Regal says I think it's a fair proposal. No relegations, but promotions. Relegations, I disagree with you because you can't have one without the other. You really can't have one without the other. Sophie says Tesco, Asda, or Iceland. I go to Tesco's because it's my closest. I can't get to the other ones, unfortunately. I could get to Iceland, I suppose, but I don't like frozen food. I try not to have as much frozen food as little as frozen food as possible. And he says, whatever happens in the Premier League, it will be like a domino effect with everyone following suit, or likewise upwards, mate, as well, for that matter. It could happen. You know, we just don't know. Harrison's in the chat. Hello, son. Good to see you again. Rose says, wait, Rose. Nick says, you reckon Moyes will be scouting the Bundesliga? He will. A lot of us will. I know because there's a video that's gone up today that Hammers Chat did. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. That they said the players that they want to bring in from the Bundesliga. So I'll be interested to see what Gio's thoughts are on that. Beck says, Foe, and you call me posh. And Beck says, yeah, I agree. You can't have promotion without relegation. It's not fair. I mean, the whole situation as it stands at the moment isn't fair. Anyway, but you know, that's just the way. Exactly, Bex. It's a competition at the end of it. Precisely. Ben says England versus Scotland on Sunday. Oh, classic game. I take it it's the Euro '96 stuff, I'm guessing. Regal C says I agree normally, but unprecedented times and all that. Mate, at the end of the day, it's been well documented that the EFL are not happy that you can't have relegations and you can't have relegations but still have promotions. It's counterproductive of the contracts. It really, really isn't. So interesting reading because apparently, and I say apparently, because I haven't seen much information about what's going on with the France League at the minute. But apparently, AVB, Andre Villas-Boas, is going to be resigning from Marseille. Now, I know we talked about him a little while back for those that have been here for most of the week. But for those that are just joining, because I know there's more people watching than are talking at the minute. It's nice to see all the regulars having an at with each other. But I know there's at least 17, 18 more people that are watching this that haven't made any comments yet. Would you take, and those in the chat as well for that matter, would you take on AVB as a West Ham manager? Not necessarily now, but would you take him? Let me know your thoughts on it, because I personally I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind him. I really wouldn't mind him. I think he's a talented manager. I don't think he'd come to West Ham in any shape or form, especially the way that David Sullivan runs the club. But yeah, I think it's a good shout. I think he'd be a very good prospect. Vo says yes to AVB. Yeah, cool. Mark says, I know how you like the Cyprus weather check. Just to keep you in the... No, it's 37 degrees here today. It's about 17, 18 here, Mark. I had quite a nice walkout earlier today, and it was... I think it was quite nice to do that walk. I spent about an hour walking. It was good fun. It's nice to do it. And saw a really gorgeous girl today. Whoa, bloody hell. Ricker says, I don't think he'd touch us personally. Agreed. But regardless of that, would you take him if he came? I know I've just set myself up the joke for that. We don't want him back, Chelsea. We're not asking if Chelsea want him back. Mark says, AVB, yes. With Fo says with Adoni Zubaretta as director of football, possibly. I know because he walked out a little while back. AVB, yes, if he's going to be sacked. Apparently, he's going to resign. Henry, as I'm saying, he's going to resign. Andy said you just answered your own question with Sullivan in charge. I know, mate, but that's what I'm saying. If he played suit, because at the end, if he played well the way that he started playing well with Pellegrini, I reckon he could be done. Could be done. Vern says nope, JVB won't be back, and will be another Pellegrini. Yeah. Neil says it's fucking cold here today. It was only 23 degrees Celsius. It's still bloody hotter than here, man. Come on. I know it's coming into the end of your was it autumn? Start of your autumn now, isn't it? I think, but yeah, shut up. End of your autumn, but yeah. Ben Davis says AVB was awful at Spurs and Chelsea. Yeah, we might as well have him then. Well, Ben, to be honest, I know what you mean, mate, but at the same point, I thought he did all right at Chelsea. He just lost the dressing room, and the same thing with Spurs. There's glimpses of a good manager there. There's good glimpses of a good manager there. I mean, for Mourinho to say that he was an upcoming manager when he went to Spurs in the first place. He went to Chelsea in the first place. That's a good thing. It's a good thing. Neil said he might go to the Geordies. Good shout, actually, mate. Yeah, that would be interesting. That would be interesting. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. That actually, I think he would suit him quite well. Right, for you guys, for the youngsters that are in the chat, 'cause there's quite a few of them. I was reading earlier today that Grand Theft Auto 5 is now available for free. I'm not much of a gamer, but when I was a gamer, I did quite enjoy the Grand Theft Auto games. So go check those out, guys. I think they're available online if I remember correctly from reading the article. Sofian says Pochettino is going to Newcastle. Says nobody at all. He's just linked. That's a big difference. John says what I'd love to do is go to an away game at St James's Park. Oh, mate, I miss it. I really do. I've been to St James's Park once, sitting in the home crowd for Newcastle Man City. This was 10 years. This was 10 years ago. 9 years ago. 10 years ago. This coming summer. Great stadium. Really enjoyed it. Apart from when I started shouting, everyone looked around and said, "What are you doing here, Lee?" Beck says the Newcastle takeover has hit a wall at the moment. Yeah, because they've still got a few pieces of paper to justify a few things. Nick says, "Oh shit! I just bought Grand Theft Auto 5 for 500 South African rand 1 month ago." Sophie says, "Yeah, free on the PS store, PlayStation 4 store." Yeah, agreed. I remember, as I know it was online somewhere, which is what the PlayStation store is. Henry says Newcastle will get Benitez. Do you know what, mate? I wouldn't be at all surprised. I wouldn't be at all surprised. That would he'll be welcome back with open arms at Newcastle. I know he would. Says, I recommend everyone downloads Faming Simulator PS4. It's free this month. Faming, or you mean farming? Ben says he's 33, so I'm going to get now. I'm about you, mate. You're an old git. You're a generation lower than me. John, did you ever play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas? Yes, I did. And Vice City. I played both of those. They were good fun. They were good. Vice City cracked me up. Really, I just went around pissing about. I hardly ever did any of the missions because it was just too much fun to sit in the radio, drive around, and all the other stuff. It was really good fun. Andy says Mark says his first West Ham match was away to Newcastle. We lost 3-1. Neil says it's too far, but we are talking about. Are we talking about Exeter or Newcastle? Gary said, "How old were you when you went to your first match, and who did we play?" My first actual match. There's a long, sad history about West Ham in terms of my actual immediate family, because my mum hated football because the family loved it, and my dad hated football because he was a cricket fan. He called football's a yobs game, which is understandable. So I couldn't really go to West Ham until I broke away from all of that. So my first game was Macclesfield Town in 2008, I think it was 2007, 2008. When we played them in the League Cup and it went to penalties. That was a hard game to watch. Remember calling Noble Bond because he had his Bond haircut. He was really doing my head in that night. But yeah, that was my first game. John says signings I would love Odegaard for centre midfield or attacking centre midfield. Also Tagliafico. Now Tagliafico, left back from Ajax Dutch League. Also Luka Jovic. Try a bit, yeah. There's a bit of an age argument going on in here. Gary says his first game was Notts Forest in '88. It was 3-0. Gary, how old were you when you went to see it in that case? There we go. I was 16. Cool. So yeah, you're 2 years younger than me. 2 years younger than me. So get prepped. Get prepped. Yeah, we'll brush over that. All your bloody your age arguments at the minute. Now, as you guys know, I like to talk about the anniversaries, and sorry to say that it's 9 years ago today we got beaten by Wigan, and when we got relegated with a game to go. You know, it was obviously quite a famous game for many reasons. More specifically, the first thing I think about when that comes up, well, you know, obviously we were cruising at half time, if I remember right, and then we just got absolutely battered. And also, of course, the plane banner, Avron Grant, Millwall legend, flying over the DW Stadium. And more specifically, the behind closed doors story of Avron Grant not being told he was going home with everybody else, and Parker, being the bloke that he is and the absolute salt of the earth geezer that he is, put his arm around and said, "Boss, you're coming back with us on the boat, on the coach." Even though apparently there was a Skoda, I think, was waiting to pick him up. He was going to go back separately. But yeah, it was interesting days. Andy says, my first game was Spurs away, Boxing Day 1986. The season Clive Allen scored 49. We lost 4-0. Oh, that was a tough season for us, if I remember right, mate. I mean, I say 49 goals, not a bad thing, but I remember there was some dodgy decisions in there. Oh, John's 2 years older than me. My commiserations, mate. Sofian says his first game was 3-0 against Fulham. Regal C says their first game was Oxford versus QPR in the Milk Cup final. John says hopes Swindon Town get promoted. I like them. I watched a little bit of them when Di Canio was their manager. Yeah, they at that point they played some good football. Ben says away day Grant got sacked. Well, that was some good. Yeah, but it's an awful thing to do, though. You know, not to let him travel back and stuff. It was just, I mean, it was an inevitable thing, of course. But something says my first proper understanding of this club, we are awful and we lose a lot. Yeah, pretty much, mate. That's the way it goes. John says his first game was 2017 Huddersfield and the 2-0 win, home win. Yeah, that was a good game. That I was there for that game. Very entertaining. A little bit nervy in sections, if I remember right, but very, very entertaining nonetheless. And the last thing I want to talk to you guys about, because for the sake of there's just absolutely nothing, and without going over old ground we've done before, Harry Redknapp was interviewed earlier this week, and he says that he wants to buy a football club after of the lockdown. Now, he did make sure that he made himself that he wanted to look at a lower club, a national league, or maybe League One, League Two. I mean, I think that's quite a good idea from Harry, to be honest with you, because he's got enough bloody money. He's more than well minted enough to start owning a football club. So I think I personally I say good luck to the geezer. Sofiane says, I found my old Twitter account today, proof I've been GSB out since 2016. Thanks for the update. Much appreciated, mate. Darren says his first match was versus Oldham in 1979, a week before his 7th burp day. Regal, he says, if someone lives in Oxford, we hate Swindon, we hate Swindon. Skoda says, Henry says Skoda or Larder. Larder, I think that's meant to say, isn't it, mate? Yeah. Now, the original ones were terrible. The Skodas now, they're not bad, but when they came out in the late 80s, early 90s, well, mid 80s, mid to late 80s, I should say, they were rust buckets. Absolute bloody rust buckets. Ben Davis says, night games were brilliant at Upton Park. Saw us beat Newcastle 2-0. Daniel Williamson and Cotty scored 96, I think. That sounds about right, mate. Yeah. It was around about that time. John said, John says, we don't deserve to have London Stadium. That's for world-class teams. We're not that. That's why Upton Park fitted us. Well, it's not a world-class stadium, mate. It's a piss-poor stadium for football. It's a multi-purpose event stadium. That's exactly what it is. It's not a football stadium. It never will be. I don't care if the extension of the seats are ready to be put in and they're just waiting for. Well, we can talk about it now. Actually, to be honest with you, I was going to leave this for a little bit later, but yeah, it's just. Here we go. I'll come back to it. Ian from Hammers Poles in half-time. Ian, hello, mate. But the bowling was perfect for us because that was our home. London Stadium will be our home at some point, even if when the stands are put in, if it makes any difference, it makes any difference. But we'll see. We'll have to find out what happens. Do they make brown paper bags big enough for Henry? Mark Walter says, my first game was the 1980 Charity Shield versus Liverpool. Cool. Welcome on board, mate. Nice to see you. Where are we? Sofian, random. Where's that random question? Here we go. Sofian says, favourite tea bag. At the moment, it's Twinings, turmeric, and orange, and something anise. It's really nice. It's really, really nice. Vernon says, the joke was a Skoda. Had a heated rear window to keep your hands warm when you pushed it home after it broke down. Jonathan says, do you like fun? Ian says, sorry, just popping in briefly. Get the numbers up, son. Neil says, Skoda is just a Volkswagen with a different name. Yeah, to a degree. I think they're owned by the same company now, aren't they? I think. Lena, good afternoon, hun. Hope you're all right. Sophie said the stadium sinks. It just stinks. Not going next season. The bowling was perfect. They took that away. Mate, I don't think anyone's going next season, so it doesn't really make much of a difference, but I know what you mean. Darren says his granddad had 3 of those rust buckets, 1 in claret and 2 in light blue, bless him. Darren says, I've changed my mind about playing the games better than being relegated by a computer. But not necessarily. Depending on which points per game system they're going to be doing. Sofian says, ew, PG Tips classic. Mate, you're 15. How do you know it's classic? Beck's paying attention as always. So I was getting frosties. I missed stuff. Mm-hmm. John says, have you watched Turkle in Trouble? Not bad, anything, just funny, weird anime. Do you mean Turtles in Trouble? But I've not heard of either of them, if I'm honest with you. Nick's wife says, I was supposed to go to my first match this season with my dad, as my dad lives in England, but COVID 19 was a pose. Vern says, more seriously, Skodas were originally built by slave labor from prison camps in the communist days. Yeah, totally different when bought by Volkswagen. Yeah, they were. Agreed. Yeah, I mean, there's one other company that used to do that as well, for that matter. I can't remember who the names were. John asks, dream car, John. I'd have to say Lamborghini Countach. I love that car. It's a beautiful thing. Absolutely beautiful. Mid-80s supercar. Absolutely brilliant. I'd love to have one of those and then boof it up for today's standards, but that'd be brilliant. Sofian says, PG Tips original flavour. That's what I meant by classic. Trust me, mate. The older you get into you try some strange stuff. I used to drink Earl Grey for a long time, and then I still drink Earl Grey every now and again, and then with turmeric. Proper tea, with the exception of English tea and PG Tips. Breakfast tea and PG Tips. All other tea should have no milk and no sugar in it. That's the way it was designed, including Earl Grey. Because you get the fuller flavour and you get more of the caffeine. There's actually more caffeine in tea than there is in coffee. Henry said, I remember my friend trying to hide his larder. Dream car Skoda, 105 litre 1982. Yeah, all right. Who else's dad's eats Alton for breakfast? I'm telling you, mate, you give it 20 years, 15 years, you'll be doing the same stuff. I'm telling you. Neil says, if you class next season as games in front of fans, when do you think next season will be? 18 months minimum. I honestly think 18 months minimum. I really do. I really, really do. Vernon says the Countach was a beast. The Tommaso Pantera of the same era was very cool. So yes, it was. It was a beautiful one. I'm going for Dortmund just to feel what a winning team feels like. Milk makes tea nice. Stop it, mate. I'm telling you, talk to people that actually know how to drink coffee and tea, and they will tell you the same thing. Proper tea, I say, with the exception of breakfast tea and Yorkshire tea, basically anything that's not English tea is designed to be without milk, without sugar. Trust me, look into it. That's your homework, Sofian. That's your homework, mate. All right, for this weekend. Mark says coffee over tea. Ben asks, do you think the next World Cup will be delayed like the Euros? Or it has to be, mate. It has to be. Everything has to be delayed from now on until everything gets back to normal. Yeah, Vernon says the only tea I drink is Long Island iced tea. I can't find a tea bag for that so far. I'm not a big fan of that, mate. If I'm honest, I don't really like that. Sofian says my dad and him loved cars. Sorry, I was trying to think the other one, but come on. But which year, Gary? Come on. My granddad, bless him, worked at Ford Dagenham Motors. My granddad used to work at the Ford Dagenham plant itself. When I was a kid, he built me. I wish my mum had kept it. It was beautiful. I was only about 18 months old. My granddad built me a pedal car, a pedal little Ford, had a little Ford emblem on the front, black and silver license plate with my first name on the front of it. It was lovely, really nice car. I used to play that. I used to ride that all the time because Granddad made it for me. He made all the mechanics. He got a friend of his to vacuum form the plastic, but he did everything else. It was great. It really was great. Where's the other one? Comment I've just seen. They had a Ford Cortina. So did my granddad. He had a Ford Escort and a Ford Cortina. Ben only drinks coffee. John O'Connor says, if you could sign any 3 players, who would it be? Who would they be? I think you mean, mate. And opening guy and stuff. Hello, mate. Random picture. 3 players I would sign. I've actually been looking into the kid we were talking about yesterday, the Montreal or Montraro, whatever you pronounce it. Apparently, he can play as centre back and as a right winger. So apparently, that's the reason why he's been heavily linked with us having a pre-season agreement, pre-contract agreement. So that'd be interesting. Just a little tidbit side note in there for you there. 3. I don't know, mate. I've covered it not numerous times on Premier League. I don't know external players, so I'll have to come back to you about that. But I will come back to you about that, I promise, because I always make notes about who asking what. Opening that was answered yesterday. Yes, I have. Mark says you're having a tea party. Which 3 guests would you invite, dead or alive? Well, invite my dad, bring him back for the dead for one. Have him back. That'd be a great guest. I'd have Robin Williams back as well, and Liam Gallagher. I think that would be brilliant. Those conversations would be fantastic. They really would be fun. John asks, cats or dogs? Both. I'm happy with either. Flo makes a good point. So Ben, general theory is we will have a vaccine in 12 to 18 months. I can see 2022 on schedule. Make monkey talks, especially at FIFA. Money talks, especially at FIFA. Yeah. As Creswell and Thingy Bob came out with, saying that money's more important than money's more important than people. John O'Connell says, our favourite game of the season or last season? Well, last season, Fulham away. That was great. That was great fun that day. And I'd probably say Chelsea away. Those 2 away games I did last season. Actually, no. Spurs away last season. Home games have been terrible. I haven't really enjoyed any of them, really, apart from... No. No. Opening asks, you seen Gavin and Stacey because Smith, who supports West Ham? No, I watched it because it was funny, like most people. Sophie said never had coffee in his life. Well, you shouldn't be because you're only 15. You're not old enough for the proper count of it yet. That's why kids have tea and milk in the sugars, is because it brings the caffeine content down. Venom says his grandma and great granddad worked at Dagenham too. They were bombed out during the war. Montiel, thank you, Fo. I know one of you guys would pick me up on it, but yeah. Fo says black coffee. Nick says Adam Traore, Jack Grealish, and Max Aarons. Yeah. If you could sign one Prem player, who would it be? But you would have to sell someone. I'd sell Jack Wilshere straight away. Absolutely sell him straight away. And I would bring in Damari Gray. I'd bring in Damari Gray. I think the kid is very, very talented. Gary says, "I want to know what happened on the fishing trip." Apparently, we're going to find out in this new coming series. We're gonna find that out, Gary. That'd be interesting. Regal C asks, if we do finish the league, what are your thoughts on neutral venues? The neutral venues is not going to happen. It's 95% been ruled out. I don't know. Even if it came in, I don't agree with it. I think it's a stupid idea. Ben Davis says, hopefully there will be a vaccine. Money talks, no doubt. I'm disappointed there is no international football this summer. What, mate? How can you be disappointed when there's hundreds of thousands of people dying from the virus? Neil from Dunham says, Maiden Dagenham was a good movie. Just saw it recently on TV here. Yeah, it is. I saw it a long time ago, but yeah, as it is a good. Sofian's question, that's the answer to the Tea Party one. I love that. So I would have my granddad, never saw him. Sorry to hear that. Bobby Moore and Muhammad Ali. Not a bad shout, mate. Not a bad shout. Can't imagine Liam Gallagher at a tea party. Mate, he drinks tea. I'm telling you, he drinks tea. That's one of the things how I found out about how good turmeric is. He drinks hot turmeric tea. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Bexwood said, I'd invite 3 of the PG Tips monkeys. Opening says, how do you get people's comments on the screen? With StreamYard, the package I'm using. John O'Connell asks, kiss, kill, marry, Noble, Ginger Pele, Paye. Kiss Noble, marry Ginge, and kill Paye. Ben says, has anyone seen the comedy series Bottom? That Only Fools and Horses and Curb Your Enthusiasm are great comedies. Yes, they are, mate. Bottom was fantastic. And as was Only Fools and Horses. Couldn't really get into Curb Your Enthusiasm, but it was good fun nonetheless. Sofian says, Fulham away was great last season for me. My dad works at BT, so he has mates from BT Sport. We got hospitality. Not really sure what that's all about. Gary says, Del Boy falling behind the bar is the best comedy scene ever. Yeah, yes and no. And he says, do you see the Troy Deeney quote, going back to football is no different than going to the shops? He replied, but I don't have to go to the shops. Yeah, we talked about that last night, Andy. It just proves my point that nobody was paying attention to half of the stuff we were talking about. But anyway. The disrespect to me is disgusting. It's not disrespect, mate. It's a question asked. Beck says, marry Noble, kiss Ginge, kill Paye. Kiss Noble, marry Paye, kill Ginge. Opening, just Google StreamYard. It will tell you all you need to know, mate. It will tell you all you need to know. Sophie, I've only heard one song from Oasis. It's called Wonderwall. I'll let you off because you're a teenager. Even though the music is on all radio stations all of the time. Wonderwall is very overrated in my opinion. I rate Oasis though. Wonderwall isn't overplayed and has been for, where are we? 25 years? Yeah, 25 years. I personally prefer what's his name? Mike Flowers' Pop's version was brilliant. Oh god, what was this? There's a really cool jazz singer that did a version of it as well. Paul Anka. He did a very cool version of it. Black tea, no sugar is the go, but a shot of rum in the tea really helps too on a cold morning. Certainly does, mate. Certainly does. Beck says Wonderwall isn't their best at all, like at all. Well, it was when it was. It's because it's been played so much. People's opinions of it have completely changed. Live, it was fantastic, absolutely brilliant song live. Hearing it on the radio as much as we have done, totally different. Totally different. Neil says his first game was we lost to Wimbledon 2-0 in '92, and I've been a season ticket holder ever since. Feel your pain, fella. I feel your pain. Opening us that says, here are my 5 top comedies. Comedies. I think you pronounce that. It should be comedies. Do you agree with them? 1, The Inbetweeners. 2, Benidorm. 3, Friday Night Dinner. 4, Last of Summer Wine. 5, Only Fools and Horses. No, I don't agree with that at all. Not that far off it. Last of Summer Wine is funnier than Only Fools and Horses. Friday Night Dinner, I don't know. Benidorm, yeah, that's fine. That's your opinion, and cool. Coincidence that Noble and Deeney are the most vocal in the meeting. They're the only 2 captains in the league with balls. Agreed. Ben says, I know Slide Away, for example, is better. Yeah, it is. It's my personal favourite, and it's Beck's as well. That long means so much to me. Do you know what? It's a very interesting story about how that song came about. And before anyone asks, no, I'm not going to sing it tonight, unless we get 9 subscribers tonight. Yeah, no, it was. But seriously, we that was Noel Gallagher wrote that on John Squire's Gibson Les Paul. He needed to borrow a guitar for the recording studio session they were doing at the time. Was it John Squire? Yeah, I think it was John. Yeah, it was John Squire. Borrowed his guitar, and he said in that. Noel always said, and I always agree with him. Noel Gallagher's always said that a guitar has at least one song in it waiting to come out, and it is. Yeah, definitely. My Epiphone, I'm working on a new song that just come out of nowhere. The 12 string when I first bought it, I wrote a new song on that. They do. It is. Darren being a cheeky git saying, how did you get on with Fulham this season, John? You know full well it's well documented. Faux Season says, Don't Look Back in Anger is a banger. Yeah, I did, Ben. Not gonna lie, I got thrown out. Yeah, because they're idiots over there. And to be fair, a lot of Fulham supporters commented on that video saying, yeah, they don't like their stewards either, for that matter. So it's not just me. Regal C says Oasis are terrible. Blur all the way. I like both teams. Bands. I love both teams. Both bands. I love both bands. They were brilliant. I was the only one out when it was all this stupid media, Oasis versus Blur stuff. I was the only one that had both record collections. John says I hate the radio play. They replay every song, and the songs are rubbish. Yeah. Opening guy says here are my top 5 slots at the moment in the charts. 1, Someone You Love. 2, Blinding Lights. 3, Adore You, Harry Styles. 4, Falling by Harry Styles. Watermelon Sugar, Harry Styles. Own It. 6, and 7's Yummy. Fair enough. Sophia asks Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock. Is Stone Cold for me. Stone Cold a film. Verna says I prefer Roll With It and She's Electric from that album. Can't believe that is 25 years old. Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. I know what you mean. Well, here we go. Yes, I was the one that was filming, mate. A year later, it was plastered all over Twitter. And even then, Clarence Hugh got the article wrong about it. Ben Davis says She's Electric is a brilliant tune. It is. I was playing it earlier today. Nick Squire Thompson asks, "What made you create this YouTube account?" Well, actually, mate, as I talked to Charlie about, I think we talked about it off camera on Tuesday night. This was originally just mine. This channel was originally just mine. It wasn't JPWHU TV. It was just down as my name, John Phillips. I used, as Darren will be able to back me up on this as well. Bearing in mind, guys, what 10 minutes left. That I used to do football stuff on there. I did a review of Liam Gallagher's album when that came out 3 years ago. I did a review of Jurassic Park soundtrack. Used to do daily thoughts of what was going on in the news, kind of like how very similar to this format now. Just obviously wasn't live at that point. But we and then one of my old housemates looked at my channel and said, "What the bloody hell are you doing?" And I went, "What do you mean?" She went, "Well, you're confusing people with your channel. What is it? Is it about football? Is it about news? What is it?" And so she said, "Well, have one channel for football and one channel for everything else." And so this one was rechanged to JPWHU TV, and the other channel, JPTV, was created as well. So that's how you go. That's the story. Andy said, "I went out with a girl years ago that said she didn't like live music. It ended shortly after. I love going to gigs. But you can't, mate. Do you know what? I prefer little pub gigs now. I really do. They're much more fun." Opening is called StreamYard. All right. Contact me on Twitter, mate. Contact me on Twitter. The links are in the description below, and I'll talk to you about it. But we're just not going to go through it on this. All right. Regal says his best comedy, The Young Ones. Very, very close. Very, very close. I love The Young Ones. Cracks me up. Surfing says Tootsie Slide by Drake is banging. Bex says, "Andy, what? No. Live music is the absolute best. I love going to gigs." Neil says, "I've been to see Fulham sometimes, but it's been a long walk from the station." Yeah, it is. It is a long walk, especially when you got to trudge through that bloody park. Jesus. Bernard asks, "Remember the Steps from the mid-90s? I was in love with Lisa." I remember Steps. And yes, I know what you mean. She was gorgeous. Where are we? John O'Connell asks, "Have you watched the video where they expose Katie Hopkins? It's made by Josh Peters and Archie Manners." No, I haven't. And to be honest with you, I don't really care about her, so I'm not going to watch it. Doesn't interest me in the slightest. There you go. Darren says, "John Phillips, weekly thoughts, art, sports, current affairs, and a lot of crime." Yes, it was. Yes, the knife crime stats were absolutely ridiculous. That's half of the content most of the time. Yeah, Eagle C says, "Support your local music scene, especially now." Agreed, mate. There isn't one over this neck of the woods, unfortunately, but yeah, you're absolutely right. All right, guys, we're coming up to 5 minutes now. So unless there's anything else you guys want to talk about, we shall start wrapping this up. And no, there's not going to be any songs being sung. Do I know who Addison Rae is? No, I don't. I'm afraid, mate. Vernon Harvey says S Clubs. Hang on. This weird. This thing. S Club 7. Forgot all about them. Glad Ben is a fan of both. Neil says I'm the I'm the only local music scene at the moment, JP. Oh, yeah, possibly, Neil. I might be. Yeah, I might be. All right, Gazer. All right, Neil. I'll have a look. I'll have a look afterwards, mate. Yeah. Um. Oh God, she's a TikTok dancer who football Twitter boys are thirsty for. TikTok is the most stupidest thing I have ever seen in my entire life. I did create an account for this originally, and then when I saw all the shit that was going up, I was like, no, I'm not doing it. Not doing it at all. It's just it is pathetic. It is absolutely pathetic that we live in such a world nowadays where people are putting them. I know under the circumstances it's understandable, but at the same point, the stuff that gets on there is just it's infantile to say the least. I mean, Gordon Bennett. If we had this in the 90s, what's it? If we had this in the 90s, bloody oh God, what's his name now? The Jackass guys would be all over. That's where you'd see Jackass videos, man. It's that stupid. Vernon Harvey, random question. Thoughts on David James? Underrated or underappreciated? I hated him for a long time, especially when he was in goal for England. I used to call him Calamity James. He made some awful games for England, but from a West Ham point of view, underappreciated. Definitely underappreciated. Bex, all boys are thirsty. Yep, men aren't. Boys are, men aren't. MySpace. And if you have to say MySpace and especially sell it in the way that you've just done, that just shows how old you are as well, for that matter. So, I'm not thirsty. Bye, God's sake. Bye, John. Hello, mate. See you later, mate. Take care. Well, we're going to be wrapping this up in a couple of minutes anyway. And MSN Messenger. Yeah, exactly. You guys showing your age there, not just me. MySpace was fantastic, and Messenger. MySpace actually, before it got redone a few years ago, my old band was on MySpace. You could hear my old demo songs on there. You really, really do. Beck says, John, I know some thirsty men too. Well, hey, Luke's in. Oh, God's sake, Luke's in. Lycos chat, hello, mate. Luke's giving me a bit of his dating tips out here. He used to meet loads of birds on there. You naughty bugger. You naughty bugger. MSN chat rooms too. Right. Coming into the last minute. No, John, seriously, do you know Lana Roadside? No, I don't. Did you enjoy school? Yeah. Not really. No. Mate, close. BT internet. It was just the server, I think, more than anything else. Because I see everything you guys were coming through fine. It's just the for some reason it wasn't connecting properly, but I could see it. Frankly chuffed it stopped at that comment. Agreed. And guys, we're going to stop it there as well for that matter, because it's been an hour now. So thank you very much for your time. It's been great to talk to you, as it always is. And guys, thank you very much for everybody in the chat rooms. Got me actually got me bloody saying now in the live chat. It's been great to talk to you all. Really is. Neil, Bex, Luke, Sofiane, Neil, just everybody. It's been great. It's always a pleasure doing this. This is Wally as well, for that matter. this is the best part of this. This is the why I keep doing this on every single time. But guys, thanks very much for your time. If you're new around here, welcome. If you like what I'm doing and you want to be involved in tomorrow night's conversation, then by all means, please do consider subscribing. And also, if you do subscribe, then hit the notification bell, because we're still nowhere near the gig numbers that I want us to get to. I want us to get to 1,600. We need 59 still to go. So a long time before that's going to happen. So guys, thanks very much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will see you guys. I will see you tomorrow evening, same time, same channel, 6:30. All the best now.